time to describe it at length here, but the fact that I'm narrating a pretty bad piece of film indicates the value I place on these. Now I have to start getting back to the film. This is some mission somewhere. That's me, and that's Louise Schmidt holding me, and the opening scene with us at the table also had Louise Schmidt. And I don't know where this is. Cacti do not look familiar, but it was probably at the mission, and we probably went to the mission as a family with Louise and Bill Schmidt. And Louise Schmidt is a cousin of Dad's. And there's going to be a lot from South Carolina in Reel 9. So we'll see that. So I was always afraid of reels getting lost. And so I made every effort to copy them myself before sending them out. Now, this is Northridge. It looks like Northridge, but I think chronologically it's too early to be Northridge. So it probably is not Northridge, but anyway, Northridge. That might have been South Carolina. Anyway, that's Charlie, May, and Mildred is in the picture, and that is South Carolina. So that was not Northridge. Northridge came a few years later, but there's Dad, bald-headed, and to the right of him is Charlie, and I don't know who they are, but they would be relatives. One of them must be probably Mildred. That's Chuck. Chuck and Matt. Chuck is older, Matt is younger, and their dog. Chuck and Matt May, who are sons of Charlie May, and first cousins on Dad's side. Dad and Charlie are brothers. Close up of Matt. Of course, Charlie was a medical doctor. And I think those are the Mitchells. I had asked and I got a reply, but I don't have that in front of me. And I don't know who they are, but I'm sure that when people, our other relatives, see this, they'll know. And I don't know who he is. And I don't know who she is. That's Matt holding some puppies, and again in South Carolina. And I don't know who the little boy in the foreground is. Charlie in the picture. I think that's Matt. So, in sending these off, two of the reels which were sent to Walgreens were missing. That's Charlie May and Chuck and Matt and Mildred and their dog and the puppies in their South Carolina house, Bennettsville, South Carolina. So, after the two reels were lost, I was very glad to have the poor quality backup that I'd made, but at the same time, I was searching for better ways of making backups. This looks like the funeral flowers from Charles R. May Sr. having passed away. Pap, we called him. So this apparently was the occasion for Dad to come back. His father must have passed away at this particular time. And that's probably the reason that us kids and also Mom were not in the picture. So Dad was taking these pictures to bring back and show us. So the need arose to do a better job of archiving these pictures before they were sent out. And the first, this must be the Wanamaker's house. I remembered they had servants, and of course I was not along on this trip, but nevertheless it does look like it was the Wanamakers, who are related to us in some way. Dr. John May and Mary Louise May Foster and Wisie, their mother, who's the stepmother of Charlie and Don May. Here, I can't name these people right away. Again, Mildred, Chuck, and Matt, and I don't know who he is in the picture. I don't know who the little girl is. I don't know who the woman is. So initially, Dad's projector was not even in good enough condition to show these pictures well. And I don't know who they are, but the one on the left is I think that might be either Wisie or some important relative. Now, to the left looks like John. To the left is John. I don't know who the girl to the right is. So I initially found several identical projectors on eBay and bought them up, identical to Dad's projector. But I find it impossible, that's me in the center there, I find it impossible even to buy the old 8mm leader. That's the blank film that you thread through the projector so you don't have to thread film with picture. This is North Hollywood, California, and these two brothers that drive up, I don't know who they are. So they were not our immediate, often seen playmates. Now here I'm on the left, Donnie May. Earl Elwood is in the foreground. I'm to the left in this picture, and John may be, well, anyway, John is smaller than me. And so John is to the left, I'm in the center, Earl Elwood to the right. And this is our Chaise Lounge in North Hollywood. And I guess it's Easter time. So it must be perhaps Easter 1947. And that would mean that I was 5.5 years old, and John might have been 3.5. And Earl was a year or two older than me. It's very windy, and John and I are both climbing a tree, and I don't remember strong winds like that in the San Fernando Valley. But here in Malibu, we have far greater winds. And that's me looking out of the tree there. We had tree houses in North Hollywood and also forts dug under the ground. Here, these three people I don't know who they are, but we saw them in other films. And that's one of the Tapp twins. John Tapp Sr. with his two twin daughters. And then that looks like me to the right. And there's, I think, Joan and Jane Tapp. No, I don't recall who they are. This is our backyard. Notice that the lattice is there and it is painted, and throughout these films that helps date and order these pictures. I'm on the left and John, and I don't know who's visiting us, perhaps the Petersons. And that looks like the dog Pepper from next door, which is a nice, real nice dog. And then that's me to the left and John to the right in our backyard in North Hollywood. And we're standing under the sprinkler. And later on there was a little tiny swimming pool in that location. And then later on yet it was gone. So I'm dancing around, and there's John there. And that's Louise Schmidt. I think that's John that she's playing around with. So then the second problem in doing these films is finding a camera to take the picture. A big problem. That was me. And that's Dad and Mom and John and I. So 2 different video recorders failed to do a good job of taking the picture. And actually I think that's Louise Schmidt, not Mom. So that's Dad and John and I and Louise, and Mom is not in the picture, Mom being Jean May. So there's a lot of reasons why cameras fail to be good at doing this sort of duplication. Done on the Sony still camera in movie mode, and then after that some were done by the Lumix camera in manual movie mode. These are the Schmidts. And it turns out the Lumix camera has been the very best of any instrument we've tried. And with it you can do almost as well as what the professionals do. And the professionals have modern 8mm cameras that don't require leader, and they're not. This is probably our cat radar. Yeah, it is our cat radar. And John. And I think earlier there are shots of Radar when he was smaller, but when Radar would like to curl up in Sarah's bed next to her face, and we were afraid that Radar would smother Sarah, so we ended up getting rid of Radar, the only cat we've ever had that we gave away. That's me to the left and one of the Tapp twins on the right, and there's Jean May and Sarah May. So to do a good job of duplication, you have to be able to adjust the frame rate on both the projector and the camera. Seek greater focus and therefore continue to come in and out of focus. Peterson on the right, Mom on the left, with Brenda Peterson and Sarah, who are the same age.